You know what I love? Um, the biases, the hiring biases specifically that all of us go through. Say you have had a long tenure in one place, or you've been job hopping every 6 months, year, 2 years. You can't win in either scenario, right? Because if you've been with a company for a very long time, it's great. For some people, it shows commitment. On the other side of things, it shows that, say you worked for a large organization with a lot of structure. Some employers might think that that's not a great thing, smaller companies especially, or companies who tend to be more agile will say, oh, he's coming or she's coming from that large organization that's very rigid and we don't want that. Or say if you were considered a job hopper, right? You were at a company a year, another year, another year. If you look at my background, you would say that I'm a job hopper, which I don't care for labels. I mean, I do and I don't. Job hopper is not something that I lose my sleep over. So what are some of the downfalls of being a long-term tenured individual at one organization? It's great, it shows you have commitment, it shows that you can stick it out, but part of it is also about how things worked out for you. Say you were working for a large organization and they did multiple layoffs, but you were not part of any of those layoffs. Were you lucky? Were you hardworking? I know lots of hardworking people that got laid off many times in their career. So you can make the case individually for an individual person, but for the most part, it depends on your luck, it depends on your work, it depends on your, if you want to believe in this, like the stars that align. So that's great, right? Having a great tenure is great. But one of the downfalls about that is that you can be stuck, literally you can be stuck in that same organization. If the company uses outdated software, you're stuck using that. You're stuck with your professional experience only showing whatever outdated version of the software the company is using, because the company doesn't want to invest in new technologies or invest in new tools for their employees. I know somebody who they use SQL Server 2003, 2005. Yeah, it's 2018, people. Come on, let's go. So you kind of stuck there. But on the other side, if you are jumping from job to job to job or contract to contract, I know a lot of people who like doing contracts, and that's great. But there's also the downfall for that, where you're like, okay, well, this person's continuously job hopping. How do we know they're gonna stay with us? Oh, so what's our win-win scenario as employees and as candidates? Not that long ago, I finished a book. I read a lot of books. Sometimes I don't finish them. I read a book called The Alliance. It's an amazing book that talks about how employment should be and how employment has been for organizations like Facebook, Amazon, LinkedIn, and what they're implementing in their companies. If you're into reading, pick it up. If you are, I'm sure they have audiobooks and whatnot. But for most people that are in the working environment, what we need is something called a transformational tour, is what the book talks about. Essentially what it is that you and the company know that your time with them is limited, right? Say you are there, you commit for 2 to 5 years. It's not a contract. There's no legal document that is holding both parties to stay in that situation for 2 to 5 years. If things happen. But the idea is that you will stick it out, and they'll try and stick it out for 2 to 5 years. And in that meantime, you're gonna have multiple conversations with your manager about what's the next step after that current ABC company. Say you're a project manager and you want to become a PMO. So you work with your manager on the tools and skills that you need to become a PMO, and they help you. They utilize all the skills that you're bringing, and it's also in the benefit of the company, because if they're training you to become a PMO, they'll also be able to use you for a certain amount of time, and it gives a deadline, right? When you're running a race, when you're running a marathon, there's an end goal. And a 5K, which is what I like to call entry level or contracting jobs, that's a 5K, right? You 3.1 miles and you're done. It's short term, 30 minutes, whatever it is. But transformational leadership, from what I like to think about, is a marathon. There is an end goal. You know how to get to that end goal. You just need to work towards getting that end goal, is what transformational tours are all about. And managers and companies should not be afraid of this thinking and mentality that you're going to leave, because you're going to leave. It's going to happen. We all know. The sooner we acknowledge it, the better it is. It's going to be better for everybody if you just have that conversation up front and say, hey, I know you're going to, what's your next step? Let me help you get there, and utilize their skills. So that way you don't really get stuck in doing what you're going to be doing for the next 10 years with the same technology that you're kind of on the mercy of your company and what technologies and tools and skills they are utilizing you for. I see a lot of people later in their career that come and talk to me about wanting to change, but they're stuck in outdated methodologies and outdated technologies and outdated softwares and outdated tools that most companies these days don't want to use. So my thought here is, if you haven't read the book The Alliance, read it. If you're a manager, if you're a candidate, if you're a job seeker, whoever you are, if you are a working professional, read the book. Have that discussion with your manager. Have your manager read the book, or just show them the excerpt of the kind of tour that you want to do, and work on it. It's not hard to have. It's not a bad thing to have a long-term tenure. It's not a bad thing to have a short-term tenure at a company. Things happen, and managers and companies sometimes forget that they laid people off and those people needed to get new jobs, or that managers sometimes forget that they had that one bad manager that they lost sleep over. So we forget sometimes, so it's okay to give them a little nudge. At the end of the day, you are going to be the person who determines what kind of employment you want from your company, and of course things happen, but control as much as you can, because there are a lot of things in life that you can't control. If you have thoughts, let me know. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.